Frank out there, Frank?
Yes, he is.
Talking or?
You're wanted man, Craig.
Where's Frank's place? I thought he was.
He was.
Isn't that other one?
Yeah. Post over there.
Call the meeting to order. Roll call, please, Terry.
Brennan.
Here.
Chartran.
Here.
Dahlhoff.
Here.
Halfway.
Here.
King.
Here.
Causer.
Here.
Mowerhand. Here. Mosher.
Here.
Fawcett.
Here.
Tayball.
Here. Please stand, we'll have our invocation. Lord, may your goodness and love be present among us today. Come bless our gathering with unity, hope, joy, and peace. Build in us a deep respect for one another, that our country may be united. Come stir the hope within our hearts and renew our faith. We pray that all be granted the most important gift of all, a joyous and peaceful Christmas. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Legislators should have received the December 6th meeting minutes. Does anyone have any corrections to them minutes? If not, they stand approved. Report of the Rules and Legislation Committee for Rule 6, Terry.
The Rules and Legislation Committee is met, and they recommend to waive the rules to act upon late resolutions this morning.
Moved by Larry, second by Brian. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Go to privilege of the floor. Does anyone want privilege of the floor at this time? Don't fight. Okay, then we'll move on. Presentation of communications and notices, Terry.
There are none this morning.
For county officers and departments, Terry.
There are no reports.
Okay, thank you. Reports of standing committees. Phil, anything for today?
Oh, sure.
No, Rocky?
No reports.
No, go ahead, Phil.
Just real quick here, I wanted to tell you guys that the solar, as I told you, Dick and Jerry were asked Green Skies to do a weekly report to us, and they have done a weekly report to us. Green Skies has re-engineered according to the what National Grid asked for, and they have not received a response yet from National Grid, but they have submitted the drawings to them, and probably in the next week or two we would have a conference call to clarify all the issues, hopefully. And while we're talking about the solar, again, I'd like to thank Dick and Jerry and Mike for going the extra mile to make sure that happened by getting the Public Service Commission involved. Dick and Jerry, you saved the county a substantial amount of money and also probably saved the project, which obviously will be a big benefit to the taxpayers in the future. So going along the lines of that, of going the extra mile, I'd like to ask Dick and Jerry, because they went the extra mile, to acknowledge a couple of other guys that really went the extra mile in the DSS parking lot. And if you guys would take over, Dick and Jerry, and maybe ask the two Franks to come forward.
If you just could come up here for a minute. Yeah, Frank and Frank, please, come forward. We'd like to present this to you guys. It's the Barrier Buster Award, awarded to Lewis County Department of Social Service Buildings and Grounds Legislative Committee. North Regional Center for Independent Living proudly recognizes Lewis County DSS for the new parking lot at DSS, which now has 11 van accessible parking spaces, awarded this 27th day of July 2016. And the reason we'd like you to accept it, you two gentlemen were instrumental in making it happen and keeping us on track.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can I make you proud of you?
You can hang that in each office 6 months out of the year.
Yeah.
That's all. Thank you.
That's it, Phil?
At some point, I would like to, bring up the HRBRRD, the Hudson River thing. We can do that at the end, or I can do it right now if you care to.
I guess go ahead if you're ready.
The other thing I'd like to propose is, obviously, as you saw, I didn't get anywhere in trying to get relief on the finances on that. It was my goal, and I did not achieve the goal. So, and they do seem to have the law on their side. So I would suggest that it might be budgetary appropriate for us to set aside that money from special contingency of this current year, and just put it aside. And I'm not suggesting we pay. That would be a decision from the planning committee. But I would suggest that we encumber that money from special contingency while we got it in this year's budget, and that way it doesn't affect future budgets. So I would propose that we consider setting aside $19,924 times 3 in an account that we could use at a later date whenever the planning committee suggested payment of that.
I'll second that proposal.
Is that your motion then, Phil?
Yes, that would be a motion.
By Phil, second by Dick. Discussion. Is that doable then, Patty? You can encumber it?
You at least know where it's coming from, right?
She's thinking here.
It's for a future project that I can.
No, we don't
Pay this, no, it's a bill.
Okay, yes, then yes.
Okay. Any other comments, discussion?
What's the times 3 part?
Their budget is 3 years, 16, 17, and 18.
Okay.
So we were already behind too, because we didn't get it in the 17 budget, and obviously we couldn't get it in the 16 budget because we didn't know about it till June, so it would be adding the 18 budget, but at least we'd know we got the money. We have the money this year, and then we wouldn't have to go to the taxpayers next year in 18, plus the fact that hopefully Jerry King would be on the committee and have more influence on the outcome of that budget.
What do you think about
Those were
Pictures
pictures.
on.
Trying.
Actually, in the meeting the other day, Jerry, they said it was still in the governor's office.
I got to sign off on a couple things, but it looks like I made it.
Okay, were there any other questions or comments on that motion?
Are you okay with that? Your plan?
To encumber the money? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
That's it. I'll stop.
Good, thank you, Bill. Rocky, nothing?
No report.
Okay, Brian, county officers, HR?
Just a couple updates on the junkyard review board. Of course, they didn't meet the other night last week because of the snowstorm, or a couple weeks ago it was. And so a couple of the individuals from in Legislator King's district couldn't make their court appearances because the court was canceled, so those will be in January now. So hopefully we can move forward on them in January, weather permitting. And then there was one new complaint of a junkyard, and that was it. So that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thanks, Brian. Gary, cards and all.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll make it quick. Alan Wesley of Johnson's coming in tentatively January 16th to see if we can do any better on the cyclonic noise from the pagers. So that's still in progress. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
What kind of noise?
They call it cyclonic. And if you picture a circle, it goes from a low to high, low to high, just small.
Okay, thank you, Jerry.
Fancy word for static.
Pretty much.
Larry, economic development?
Just a couple quick items. 4 of the 8 projects that we submitted for CFAs were approved. One of those was $130,000 towards our business park, and really doesn't have any thing that we did, I don't believe, but I did read the paper that Kraft is going to get $20 million for ESD for that project. So that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Larry. Greg, taxation?
Nothing to report, Mr. Chairman.
Greg, transportation?
I have nothing to report, but I do have a motion. I need to make a motion to award the bids to various vendors for the bulk oil and supplies for the highway department for the year 2017 in accordance with the tabulated list of bidders and respective low prices on file with the clerk of the village.
Moved by Greg, second by Craig. Discussion on the motion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, Craig?
That's it.
Thank you. Dick, hospital.
Just a couple of quick things. The employee of the month for October is Jacqueline Garmish. She's a respiratory therapist. And I believe the write-up, help me if you will, Jim, she assisted someone who was in a...
Yeah, she actually sat with a dying patient, held the patient's hand, reassured her that everything was going to be okay. Ultimately, the patient expired. So, you know, she went way above and beyond her pay grade and her duties to assist with this dying patient.
You see her and know her, thank her for her excellent work and service, if you will. We had an HR committee meeting, and I'll just give you a heads up, so next month, it maybe go a little quicker. You're going to see clinic licensed practical nurse positions. There's 3 of them. One of them's going to be for our extended hours clinic that we're going to run from 1 in the afternoon to 9 at night. We're in the process of hiring a doctor for that right now. Some of the community thinks we've already hired him, but we've got a couple of hurdles, but it is going to happen. The second one will cover that South Louis clinic that we talked about, where they're paying us $100,000 to be down there and run a clinic in the school. So that'll be reimbursed. And the third one is going to be in a scribe program where they help the doctors with their billing and possibly get us more money, because the doctors are doing it right now and they can be seeing more patients while this lesser, quite a bit paid person can assist with the normal duties. Scribing that into the system so they get the reports. And I'll explain that, but I just wanted to give you that. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Dick. Andrea, anything?
Yes, Community Services Board met. And at the meeting, the local opiate crisis was discussed. And Dr. Shirley Tuttle Malone shared her experiences as at a recent community forum at her church. She expressed a concern that what is in place locally wasn't meeting the need. Providers from Mountain View Prevention, NERCL, and Credo shared their steps that they have taken to address the need. Also, our committee has interviewed 2 candidates to sit on the Community Services Board, and they will be recommended to be appointed. One is Gail Brunert. She's an RN, Utilization Review at Lewis County General Hospital, and Scott Mathis. He is the Executive Director at Lewis County Opportunities. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. Larry?
I just forgot.
Okay, go ahead.
I forgot to mention that Snowbelt Housing submitted for a CBDG grant for housing in the county. they were successful for $847,000.
Very good. Thank you.
Mike, upon further review, I have to apparently rescind my motion to encumber 3 years of money. We can only encumber one. Is that right, Patty?
Right, because encumbrances can only be for expenses that are that year. They can't be for future years. So it can only be the 60. That's what encumbrances are.
Well,
Sorry.
That wouldn't be an encumbrance, we just paid a bill.
Right.
If we paid it
Well,
in advance
we paid it.
from that.
If we
fund.
want to pay it. But
Right. If we don't want to pay it right now, I can encumber the money to hold on to it when we want to pay it.
For
Is that what
16
you're saying?
only.
For 16 only.
I don't know if we want to pay it yet, do we, Larry? That's kind of more your decision than.
Well, on second thought, I think I'd rather encumber the money on the Ways and Means budget than the planning budget.
Or it come from contingency, special contingency.
Not passing the buck.
But that was a good one, though.
All right, so as is, you'd like to rescind that motion?
And I'd like to take that motion back and do another one, or however.
Okay, I think we probably need to, you want to move to rescind?
Just amend the motion to only encumber 1 year, 19,000.
Okay, I'll amend the motion to encumber 1 year only of the $19,294 coming from special contingency
And if you add the words 2016, I'll second that.
for 2016.
Okay, it's
Thank you.
moved by Bill, second by Dick. Is there any further discussion on amending that motion? All in favor of amending the motion to read for 2016, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And I do, you're challenging me, we don't need to vote on the amended motion again, do we?
No.
Okay, we're good. Okay?
I'm gonna quit while I'm behind.
Thanks, Bill. All right, do we go to the county manager report? Anything, Liz? Patty, anything?
Nothing to report.
Okay, my brief report, just to let you know, I did attend the REDC Awards in Albany on the 8th. And yesterday we met with a group of loggers that were soliciting help anywhere they could to keep energy intact. And kind of rejuvenated their thoughts and efforts, and some of us said that maybe we can, we convinced them to put some numbers together and show how it does affect not only Lewis County, but the whole North Country, because if Free Energy had to shut down, not only would they lose their market and be out of business, but it could flood other markets with chips that Free Energy normally took. So they're going to put some numbers together, and we're going to do another, probably a lobbying pitch.
Is that shutdown imminent? Didn't you say a long time ago they were looking at February, or Larry said, or something?
Okay, so
Go ahead, Brian.
what is going on up the Linesdale is that originally they were going to shut down in February. They were only going to buy wood chips till February. They were going to operate until they burnt out the wood chips. With the spike in fuel prices, they were able to buy into some hedges. So I'm assuming that's like buying into futures for electricity purchases and stuff. That gives them enough buffer to operate to the end of 2017 now.
Oh, really?
Okay, but that still but where the issue is coming, okay, Phil, is that, all right, the loggers right now, okay, they're getting bottom price for the chips. There's no market in Lewis County anymore for low-grade wood products, except for firewood and the chips. So if Linesdale closes, them chips, them contractors are going to move to Fort Drum. Eventually, that will move contractors that are serving Fort Drum right now, push them out, and then it's just a domino effect. So now, I saw WWNY was here, but Steve's here too. You know, last night they ran an article on everyone's complaint that fuel prices, gas prices jumped up 10 cents. I think it'd be a great idea for the news media to report how much fuel prices affect other businesses. So a spike in 50 cents in gas prices would actually help dump $18 million back into our Lewis County economy. Because when fuel prices go up, wood pellets are used to heat instead of oil. Electricity use goes up because people heat with electric in different states. So when fuel prices jump up, it actually helps our economy. It hurts us as consumers, but the economy as a whole, it helps. So that would be a great thing to report sometime, because you always hear about how fuel prices are hurting everyone. It's not hurting everyone. So much of our economy in this nation is driven off of the price of fuel.
So, when you said they're good till the end of 2017, is that at current levels of buying?
That is at the current levels right now. They
So the
have
voters
enough
have
money
approved.
on, they have enough buffer of money to run to the end of 2017. So that's the email that we received. Rocky's been talking to Sarah up to Re-Energy right now. So, I mean, so that market is gonna be there, even though it's a minimum market right now, but that will help them to the end of this year, or next year.
Well, that's good to hear.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry to rain on your parade.
No, that's what we wanted to hear, to instigate some conversation there.
You're misty.
Okay, we can go on to the report of the Ways and Means Committee for Rule 7.
The Ways and Means Committee reports they have examined the claims presented for payment in the total amount of $582,202.84 and recommend that they be audited and allowed for the amounts claimed.
Moved by Brian, second by Dick. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Resolutions.
First resolution is auditing and allowing the claims in the amount of $582,202.84.
Moved by Brian, second by Phil. Roll call, please, Terry.
Brennan?
Yes.
Chartran?
Yes.
Dahlhoff?
Yes.
Hathaway?
Yes.
King?
Yes.
Causer?
Yes.
Mowerham?
Yes.
Mosher?
Yes.
Fawcett?
Yes.
Tabo.
Yes.
Authorizing amendments to agreements between Northern Regional Center for Independent Living, Transitional Living Services, Oneida Lewis, Chapter NYSARC, and Lewis County Community Services to reflect the cost of living adjustment state aid.
Moved by Brian, second by Jerry. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To authorize an NCI DISRIP provider participation agreement between the County Corporate Compliance Committee and Compliancy Group LLC for the GUARD Internet-based software program and implementation services.
Moved by Jerry, second by Rocky. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement with New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services, District Attorney, Age of Prosecution.
Moved by Jerry, second by Craig. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To transfer funds, Coroner.
Moved by Rocky, second by Greg. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appropriate funds, District Attorney Department.
Moved by Larry, second by Greg. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Appointing Republican Commissioner of Elections.
Moved by Larry, second by Craig. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Rescinding Resolution 513 and authorizing agreements between the county and various outside agencies.
Moved by Phil, second by Rocky. Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Appointing member to Planning Board.
Moved by Larry, second by Craig. Discussion.
I have a question on this. I thought this board was to be made up of public at large, not a county employee. And I know there was another applicant that was just going to start up business in Denmark, and it's incorrect, he's not allowed though, as a turn. And I thought it was supposed to be kind of like county-wide, Vic.
Well, first off, he's not a county employee, he works part-time for the IDA.
Which
And
is,
secondly, the planning board voted on the members that they wish to choose, and he was one of the ones elected.
I just find it to be, I thought it was meant for the public at large now,
So he is
county, I mean, the county, he's an IDA member, or IDA employee, which is, the IDA director is partly funded by us, so. I know there was a startup business person from Denmark that was interested in that too. I just wondered why.
All I can say is that the planning board voted on the new members, and he was one of the ones elected by that board.
Any other comments, questions? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Show Greg Counselor opposed.
Authorizing agreement with New York State Division of Criminal Justice and Probation Ignition Interlock Program.
Moved by Brian, second by Greg. Discussion? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between Department of Probation and Rubenzoll, Knudsen and Associates Psychological Services.
Moved by Jerry, second by Phil. Discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Carried.
To transfer funds, Public Defender.
Moved by Rocky, second by, go ahead, Phil.
I'm not gonna itch my nose on this one, I'll tell you that.
Okay, we need a second. Larry, any discussion? Brian?
is this, what's this extra amount for? Is it for conflict? Is it for conflict, or what is it?
Yes.
Has there been an enormous amount of conflict with who our professional services have been with this?
What, I
Is
don't
there-
understand.
I mean, has there been don't we already pay
We-
a certain amount to a group for conflict?
We budget $20,000 a
Right.
month for public defenders.
Mhm.
Then the second tier is McCluskey.
For
and that's-
conflict.
And then there's a third tier, which is
Right.
conflict. This is the third tier, and that is on a as-needed basis. And that budget has gone over.
And it always does.
It usually, yeah,
So we did go over budget.
yes.
They keep assigning more.
I think we budgeted at about 75,000.
Maybe it's time for a different time for discussion, but is that something we ought to be trying to rein in? It seems like
We
every year
don't
we do
control
this.
that. But Joan, do you want to?
This is really the unknown. This is where there's not only a conflict from a public defender, a conflict defender, but then this is the third tier where there are conflicts for both the two priors or there's matters where there are more than two defendants or respondents who are entitled to defense, and this is the unknown that we can't really quantify.
Well, if we're going over every year, maybe at budget time, we aren't allowing adequate funds to cover that contingency.
Well, that may be, and this year in October, eligibility for public defense also was changed, so that added, I think, a little bit of an issue here too.
Yeah, I knew that would happen. Thank you.
Any other questions on the resolution? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Amending compensation plan with reference to Sheriff's Department.
Moved by Jerry, second by Brian. Discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing public safety answering warrants grant agreement with New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services.
Moved by Brian, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing discharge of mortgage, Jason Cook and Melinda Cook.
Moved by Phil, second by Craig. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appropriate funds, snowmobile trail program.
Moved by Larry, second by Craig. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To rescind Resolution 530 with reference to social services.
Moved by Rocky, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To reappoint member to Soil and Water Conservation District Board of Directors.
Moved by Larry, second by Jerry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
To appoint member to Soil and Water Conservation Board of Directors.
Moved by Craig, second by Larry. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement between Lewis County District Attorney and John Sarando.
Moved by Jerry, second by Greg. Discussion? All in favor of the resolution say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Appointing member to Lewis County General Hospital Board of Managers.
Moved by Andrea, second by Dick. All in favor of the resolution say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing an amendment to resolution number 520 to authorize Director of Public Health to electronically sign the New York State Department of Health 5-year Gateway Grant Agreement between Public Health and the New York State Department of Health.
Moved by Craig, second by Andrea. Discussion?
Is the key word here electronically, the person already has the authority to sign, right?
I couldn't hear you, Dick.
Is the key word in this thing the electronic signature, because they're already authorized to sign, right?
Yeah, this, do you want to explain this one? The issue is that you guys have to approve all of these grants before they go in. New York State implemented an electronic system which did not allow for that. So basically, when Penny and Paula and Penny go in and they're entering all the information, New York State is saying, when Penny hits the submit button, that's an approved contract in their mind. In your mind, it isn't, because you have to approve it.
So that's covering that glitch.
Yeah.
Got you.
Any other comments? All in favor of the resolution say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Amending compensation plan with reference to Sheriff's Department.
Moved by Jerry, second by Greg. Discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to make a note about this while I support the resolution going forward. I just want to note that this is really an unnecessary expense, in my opinion. It's going to add about $7,000 in wages and benefit costs to the bottom line. New York State Commission of Corrections has come in and said you can't temporarily assign an officer in charge to be head of the supervisor in a shift. You have to make it a permanent position, which our system was working fine. I think it's really, I just want to make a note that I object to the State Department of Corrections coming in and taking something that was working and imposing a cost on us that we really didn't need to have.
It's another state mandate that's unfunded.
Go ahead, Brian.
And I'd like to add to the county manager's comments, because if the sergeant that's on duty and this new corporal aren't on duty at the time, the senior officer that's on duty at that time is still gonna get sergeant pay, so they really didn't correct the darn thing by forcing us to do this. They actually, all they did is created us to have more money in our budget to pay out.
Any other comments?
only that we should probably forward a resolution to the state, again, objecting to these unfunded mandates by the state. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Other comments? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed?
Greg Brennan opposed.
Levying taxes and assessments for annual town budgets and corrections to tax rolls.
Moved by Jerry, seconded by Craig. Discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Resolution to schedule 2017 organizational meeting for January 3rd at 5 o'clock.
Moved by Larry, seconded by Craig. Discussion? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution passes. Concludes the resolutions. Do we have other business to come before the meeting?
Well, just before closing, I wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you, Ben.
Same to you.
Same to you.
Thank you.
Other business? Motion to adjourn. One by Larry, second by Craig. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.